Good afternoon, fellow artists. Today, what we're going to be doing a demo over is how to create an interesting font on your piece of paper. So we are just practicing today on what type of font we are going to do. You can preferably write your name for practice, or you can do your favorite color. Anything basically random that comes to your mind, you can write. My name, in my case, I'll just do Maribel, is Maribel. Now, when you look at that, it's pretty basic whenever we are looking at our names. It's a very simple font, right? It's a very simple style of letter. But what I mean by practicing to find an interesting one is going on to your Google search there, and you can literally type in interesting fonts and go through the different types of styles of letters that you can find through the images is what I'm looking at. And as I am scrolling through, I'm going to go in and find one that I think is fairly interesting. Maybe not too hard to start off with. Let's see. We will go ahead and try something fairly simple. So with a pencil or with a pen or anything really, find an interesting font again, and to practice, what you're going to do is, again, just look at the letters that they've created there. I'm going to go ahead and start off here, and I see a font that's pretty interesting. It's pretty bold letters, and I'm going to go in and just write my name in this interesting font. You don't have to pick anything hard. We're also going to practice this because once we start our boxing poster, you're going to ask yourself, is this an interesting font to put on my poster? Do I have enough kerning, enough spacing in between my letters for it to be a pretty easy thing to read? So these are all basically things to consider when we are designing our posters for this project. So here I have a very distinct M from what I first started with. So I have very basic M. I'm going to leave some spacing so it's a little easier to read. And I'm going to go in and draw my A. With my little rectangle here. Now this is granted not going to be the neatest looking one you've seen out there, but I'm trying to be a little fast here so that you're not watching me do the entirety of the thing over a span of 20 minutes. If you would like, you can also experiment with colors. So you can choose different colors in order to create your letters here. And this one's a pretty fancy R here. And we have a nice bold area here, and we have this here. We also have a nice little rectangle. I'm going to be coloring in. And that is my R. So as you can see, the letters start to come together. Some of my kerning here has actually been a little exaggerated. Here I have quite a bit of space, so it looks like the M is a little separate from my name, and the A and the R are a little closer together, so we can tell that that goes together. But again, that is why we are practicing to visualize what the spacing between the letters are going to look like, and also see how we like the font that we are choosing here. Now the I is pretty easy. Let's look at the B. The B is pretty easy too. I picked a pretty easy font today, guys. As we are working through here, you might find one that's a little more difficult looking and one that you really want to try out, and by all means do that. Feel free to find a fancy one. You can do bubble letters too if that's what you're into. 3D looking letters. Really anything that stands out to you, you can use. Ooh, this E is pretty fancy. But we'll just try to get through that really quick. With our fancy looking E, he's gonna look a little funny coming from me. My example also shows you why kerning is very important in this case, mainly because some of my letters are really close together and then my M is just on its own. It just looks like it's completely separate. So again, this is why spacing is very important when it comes to designing this poster. You want to make sure everything reads easily. Alrighty. So here is my name here. And as we went along, you can see that my letters also got a little big, but that's okay. Again, this is why we're practicing this. So at home, again, just do a quick Google search of what is going on here. You can look at the best font that you think is better suited for your name or your color and just try it out. Make sure you take a picture of this and save it because this will be turned in with everything else, such as your poster and that color practice. So it'll all be turned in together. Make sure to save that in your digital portfolio as well if you've created one. If not, let me know and I will walk you through that process. But that's all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful day and have a fun creating, fellow artists. Goodbye.